it makes no difference whatsoever. The solar birdman here in the Museum of Gold in Colombia, and the lion with the solar symbols, the lion over here with the solar symbol over his head, and these come from St. Petersburg, and they come from Phoenicia. Here you have the sacred goat, and the goat in the thicket. All of these are reminders of what happened in the past. Wasn't there a goat in the thicket when Abraham sacrificed? Yes, when he was supposed to sacrifice Isaac. Well, the goat in the thicket becomes a symbol of Osiris as well. Satan has a counterfeit for every biblical theme. Now they're going to use that counterfeit to try and convince mankind that Christianity is nothing other than the ancient religion, when in fact the two are absolutely poles apart. Now in the sun worship system, the goat becomes the one who is the judge. So here you have the goat symbolizing the sun punishing a sinner. I've censored it because their punishing always has an ulterior motive as well. So the goat is the one who judges, not Christ, the goat, the symbol of Azazel. He becomes the victor. This god is none other than Shamash. There's the solar wheel, and that was the symbol of Shamash. That's why you find it on all these temples and all over the world. There is another cylinder seal from the Persian king, also showing the god Shamash. And today, this worship, unchanged, exists in Zoroastrianism. Here's a Zoroastrian priest in Bombay. There's their symbol. It's exactly the same, the winged sun disk symbol at the temple in Bombay. So these religious systems are existing today in every single culture. Here is the fire temple in Bombay, the flame, it's also its symbol, and there are the priests performing the fire ritual, something which was forbidden in the Bible. The eye of Osiris, the foot of Buddha with the swastikas, the Islam, the yin-yang, the Ankh, you'll find it in all these pagan religions. The 8 trigrams of the symbol of yin and yang in the center, there they are. And you have the divine man with the arms outstretched within the circle. You'll find that as a very prominent symbol. So Vishnu worship, Zoroaster, Quetzalcoatl, or the Mitzatom, all these symbols, every single one of them, is a major religious symbol to this very day. If we take Hinduism, it's nothing other than the worship of the goat. Here you have the symbols of the nose ring. There is one of the prominent nose rings, and you'll see it is the goat with the wings, symbol of Lucifer, and all the solar jewelry on it. So Hinduism is sun worship, Buddhism is sun worship, Islam is sun worship, paganized Christianity is sun worship, the earth religions are sun worship. There is no other religion on a broad scale than sun worship in the world today. If you go to India, the elephant, has been decorated here with the solar symbols. The howdah, the seat of the elephant, decorated with the solar symbols, the lion covering the sun. And the gods, of course, of Fuxi and Nuwa, intertwined, serpentinely intertwined, and there you have Vishnu lying in the serpent, waiting to be resurrected. These are all pagan sun worship systems with the symbols of the serpents. Here are the 7 serpents, and the serpent before the dog god. The dog god is none other than Dagon, or the fish god, if he has the fish mitre, or Anubis if he appears in this dog form. Surya worship with the hands outstretched. Outstretched arms are a very common feature of sun worship no matter where you go in the world. And when you look at the mysteries of how paganism has infiltrated Christianity, one of the most prominent features in Christianity today is the waving of the arms like this. Where else do you find it? In what else? You find it in sport events. Where else do you find it? You find it in rock events. Yes, and charismatic, of course. In all these events, they have exactly the same movements, because this is a symbol of sun worship, the outstretched arms. Now, we've dealt with all of these individually, so I'm not going to repeat them. The sun dance on the rampart of the 13th century Sun Temple in Konarak. There are the dancers, there are 4 of them. Every single movement they make has a sun god connotation and also has a sexual connotation. Actually, these religions are pretty perverted. If you take a rock concert, it normally ends in whole-scale perversion. If you look at some of these, then it is the very same thing. We've had these on the screen, the erotic sculptures of the 13th century Sun Temple. And on certain nights, they have wholesale theaters like that, and they dedicate it to their god of luck. Last time they had that great feast in India, there was a mighty earthquake, and was a terrible conflagration. So priests with sun rods in the temple of the Celestial Empress in China. Today, China is ruled and governed by sun worship. The ancient Andes mountains and the type of worship that was practiced there, the great Aztecs with their solar calendars, very advanced. Well, today, in the fashion world there, those same deities are being shown on televisions and are being pushed forward. This is the sun god of the Incas. His sister and consort is the moon. Mamaquilla, portrayed as a silver disc. Here you have the other form of the sun god of the Incas. These were systems that existed then and still exist today. In fact, there was a program on television that they still have in their hyped religious forms, sacrifices of maidens on those high mountains. And if you go to those high mountains today, you can still find sometimes the mummies of frozen virgins that have been sacrificed to the sun god. If you go to Africa, the African mask is a symbol of the sun deity. This is the Tabwa mask with a central solar motif. And the birds, of course, the cock is a symbol of the sun god. He's the first one to greet it. It's the rooster that crows. Now, that's why the steeples, which is a symbol of the phallus, has the crow on top of it. And they tell us it's a Christian symbol. Very interesting. So mythical African sun motifs all over. You will find these in Africa. The eagle, you'll have him, of course, in your Native American culture. And the shamans and the priests of these systems are priests of sun worship. These are all petroglyphs of sun worship on the Native American dress. If you go to the Asante Empire and look at the symbolism, there's Anubis standing there, there's the finger with the golden key in it, and there are the symbols of solar worship, sun and moon, and even these breastplates here are symbols of the solar deity. And the witch doctor, interesting pictures that they show, are all high priests of sun worship. And all of them have the same religion as the high priest in Rome propagates. Here are also the solar motifs of the high priests. Now we go to Christianity, and what do we find in the charismatic movement very often? We find the same sort of expressive religion. This woman over here walking through the streets of Jerusalem with a cross on her shoulder. And what does she have around her neck? The sun and moon deities. They've become symbols that have been adopted quite openly. And we have this very expressive religion, which doesn't really, in its deeper essence, differ anything from the Druids, which, by the way, are alive and well and living in Britain. And the entire British culture, all the churches, are really places of Druidic worship. They are tombs. And the European sun worship rituals are still alive. The cathedrals, we've dealt with that, are based on sun worship. If you look at the cultures of people, and you look at the carpets and the tapestries and the dress, the national dress of the various nations of the world, they're all steeped in sun worship. For example, this one over here is the traditional sun god headdress. But it's also the headdress of witches and fairies and creatures like that. So maybe not as a traditional dress here in this country, but on Halloween Day they will wear that. On fancy dress parties they will wear that. In fact, they're all symbols of solar worship. So the festivals we keep, the dress we wear, the temples we worship in, and the sun represented either as white and red, or blue and red, or yellow. All these symbols are solar. Now, one of the most important, as I've pointed out before, is the red dots. And the crow is the spirit of the sun in Chinese mythology, and in other cultures it is a different bird. Moon and sun worship, very prominent. Now let's have a look at some of these interesting figures over here. Here are the Buddhist deities, and there you can see some of the symbols. They both have halos behind them, and this one has a white circle, carrying a white circle, and this one is carrying a red circle. The one is the moon deity, and the other one is the male form. So the red dot stands for the male form of the deity, and the finger in the statue tells you something too. There it is. The Masonics get their fingers from these. There's the other Masonic symbol that is used, and you'll see that it is a solar symbol, because here you have these Buddhistic figurines making these hand signals. Or this one over here has the open hand. And here you have Fuxi and Nuwa in an intimate embrace. Here you have the same moon deities and sun deities in the other form, swastikas. This one is fascinating. If you will look on this side, you will see again this symbol, but slightly different, almost making a satanic sign over here. Here's another symbol. And notice this hand in the middle. There are solar symbols over there, which are also worn by the Pope, by the way. And the hand cupped like this, with a little ball in it, that is a solar sun worship symbol. So let's have a look at some more of these statues. There are some of the hand signals that you can see. There's another one over there. There is the other hand signal. That one in Chinese mythology, plus this one, which is also used by the Pope. And on cave drawings, let's have a look at them. There they are. There's the one, there's the other one. Notice them well, because the politicians use them as identifying features. There they are, and there they are. Every single hand movement has a message. There's some more of them, some more, and some more, and some more. All right, if we go to Masonry, you will find all these identifying features of sun worship and all their symbology right there. Let's go to the Roman Catholic Church a little bit more. Let's go to a church in Vis and look at some symbols. They're very cleverly disguised. This one here carrying this Bible, and that's the finger, and that's the symbol that is used. That is the symbol of Lucifer. You will find the same over there, the symbol of Lucifer, and you'll find the same over there. The symbols that are prominent in our nations, the Eiffel Tower, designed by a Mason, is a symbol of the phallic symbol. At the 2000 centenary, if they didn't have a prominent symbol, they made one. The 2000 was written in solar form. And in Washington, that is what they have over there. It's a symbol of the sun deity. The sun lamps, the sun worship, the sun hats. Let's look at some more. Here is the ordinary red dot. That's symbol number 1 in sun worship. This over here, where you divide it into the 4 quarters of the world, is symbol number 2. Very prominent feature. If you make them, now you can have various colors. You can have it yellow and red, or you could have it blue and white. Do you know of a motor car, for example, that uses that? And has it blue and white? Well, here are some of the others, the stylized one, the triple yin-yang. You could have the normal double yin-yang, and you can have all of these, and every single one of these is a sun symbol. Basic symbol, The last one is the Celtic spiral, which is very, very prominent in